So hello fellow Earthlings. This is Earthling 6455463728. And Hollywood studios are probably leaving quite a lot of money on the table by not showing us all of the different scenes that were cut from their respective movies. That's what I'm thinking, and I'll go into it after this. So like I said, I am Earthling 64 yada yada yada, and I am a ex-Navy SEAL. No, not really. I am an ex-Army reservist, so I have a little bit of military experience with weapons, with parades, with stuff like that. I can't say that I really enjoyed that, but it taught me that I could push myself a lot further than I ever thought that I could. I have a computer science degree. I have an MBA. I have gained and lost 85 pounds. Quit smoking. I've been to Caracas, Venezuela with very, very bad Spanish. Been to Tokyo, Japan, Seoul, South Korea. I've been to Europe. I've been to Canada, Mexico, I think qualifies. A bunch of places in the Caribbean. Anyway, I need to stop talking about me. So, I think that movie studios have been and continue to leave a lot of money on the table. I was looking at this video by H3, and they were kind of doing this mock trial of Jared Leto for being douchey. And in the one clip that I'm referring to, he was saying there are fans out there who are saying that they wish they'd seen more of the Joker. And his response was, yeah, me too. There's so many different things that we shot that just didn't make it into the movie. And the mock court was really about mocking Jared for doing so much method acting, sending crazy gifts to the cast, like a live rat and stuff like that. But honestly, quite honestly, I want to see all of those outtakes. Can I see those? And I mean, pick a movie, any movie. Can I see outtakes from The Matrix? I mean, I'm not talking about like the blooper reels where people start laughing, or where they start dancing, or they just are stupid, or I'm not talking about just that. I'm talking about, can I see anything? Just, there's a movie. It just came out maybe 6 months ago. It grabbed up its 1 billion or nothing even. Maybe if it didn't do anything well. I'm sure that there are people who would like to see the actors in costume, standing up, looking at the monitor, going over their performance with the director. I mean, just think of how ridiculous that looks like. For example, I don't know, somebody in a big, huge, almost mascot-looking costume, because that's what they're wearing in the movie. But in the movie, they would be shouting, or with a deep voice, or whatever. And you're just seeing this person having a normal conversation with the director, or somebody from lighting, or another famous person, or whatever. I would look at that. I would enjoy that. I don't know why in this day and age of reality TV and keeping up with the Kardashians and just gossip and all this stuff, that we cannot see all of the garbage takes. Or even when they're interviewing people, when they're casting, can we see like all of the casting for this particular movie or whatever it is, I would like to see that. I mean, show me. I'm sure that even if you come out with a whole bunch of stuff that is not really appreciated, somebody is going to dig through that and find a take that is interesting or exciting by somebody who never got into the movie, but just happens to have an interesting or unique take on a particular character that could not be put into the movie or whatever it was. I remember there was a director who was talking about there's this YouTube channel that looks for mistakes in movies, and I guess he was responding to the fact that people don't know what all the logistics that goes into trying to put together a movie. Cinema Sins, that's the name of the YouTube channel. Anyway, Cinema Sins looks for quote unquote sins in movies, continuity errors, mistakes, whatever. So in one case, they were saying as a sin in, I guess is it Shazam, the kids go outside onto the veranda or whatever, and there's 4 of the kids, and when they go back inside, one of the kids that was missing, she's inside and she's putting on her clothes to go outside because it's cold, but she was too slow. And he was saying, well, the reason why they had to do it like that, it might look like a sin, whatever it was, is that she wasn't available to shoot yet. So they shot the veranda scene when she wasn't available, and they came up with the explanation that she was too slow and she was inside still putting on her clothes. That's why she wasn't out on the veranda. But she was not available to do the scene at that particular time. So they came up with that workaround. And I thought that was pretty interesting, right? And I know if you have seen one of those director's cuts or director commentary videos where the director talks with another actor while you're looking, all of us, the viewer and the director and the other actor, are looking at the actual final cut of the show, and they'll go into, this is why we did this is why we did that. But number one, the show is still playing in the background. So while they are talking, you can easily end up very far away from what you're seeing on the screen. And it can be distracting, it can be annoying, and it can be whatever. We have, Joe Rogan and all of these comedians with their podcasts, and they are just talking. They're just talking. Or all these vloggers on YouTube, they are just talking. They're talking about all the different things that they do a day in the life of. This is what I do then. This is how I take care of that. And we have people who make movies that gross billions of dollars or cost millions and millions of dollars to make, and they are not talking about how they did these movies that we all want to go and see. To me, it is unbelievable that any movie, no matter how bad, can end up not making money when people are paying podcasters or comedians, random people, to just talk. Or like these mukbang things where people sit and just eat, and of course they talk about this and that and the other, and they make a whole bunch of money from just doing that. And there are movies that cost millions and millions of dollars that make a loss or break even, or they just don't turn a profit, while we all want to know about all of these things that are happening behind the scenes, all of these stories about these pieces of art. I mean like the animators, how the animators made whatever they made, or the the people who put together the costumes, or the lighting people, or the cinematography people, all of these people, I would want to hear about how they're doing these things. If there was a YouTube channel that was devoted just to, I don't know, just name any random movie that you can think of, and they just put out pieces with people involved in making the movie talking about how they put together the movie, and then it's just for this one movie, I would watch that, especially if it's for some movie that I really liked, even if it didn't really make that much money. You have this one piece of work that you make that is maybe an hour, or an hour, 2 hours or something, and you figure, oh, that's it. That's all that we have to show. I think there's a lot of people in the industry, and a lot of people who are making movies who just maybe don't watch YouTube, and are not familiar with all of these people who are putting out quote unquote content that is not anywhere near as interesting as all of these potential stories about how people went about putting together all the intricate pieces that need to be assembled in order to make a movie, whether it is good, bad, or ugly, profitable or not. We would be interested in all of these things. I mean, people leave their families oftentimes to go shoot on location for months and months and months. But when we hear, when these people are going on their promotional tours, we have a couple of actors in the movie, and we have, if it's a local, like if it's in Australia, or if it's in Africa, or if it's in India, or if it is, well, let's say Asia, there's just a couple of people, and they ask their interesting questions when there's so much stuff that I don't want to make it sound gross, but I would love to go through the garbage that these movie people just create. I mean, imagine a set building, a video on how they built the sets for a particular movie. I would be interested in seeing that. I know a lot of people might not, but I would be interested in seeing that. I would be interested in seeing how they put together the costumes. I would be interested in seeing how they put together the animation if they needed to. Any and all of those quote unquote boring things, I think there's a gold mine of interest that people would have in these stories. And I think part of it is because there's a lot of people out there, and I'm not trying to denigrate, let's say, the great people, but let's say Denzel Washington. Denzel Washington is not Will Smith. Will Smith, at some point, he realized, like when his father died, I guess, that he didn't need to pretend to be Will Smith anymore. He could come out and be himself, behind the scenes kind of thing. Not everything, but a lot more, and then his wife is doing Red Table Talk. And again, more of their stuff, more of their lives coming out. I hope they don't regret the fact that she came out and was honest about her relationship with that guy, because I thought that was fantastic. And her daughter said that she was proud of her. People need to know that your life, Will Smith coming out and saying, for example, that he gets sued like 15 times a year. People need to know that. That's part of the reason why you have to work, in order to pay for these people, for the lawyers who are going to protect you from people who are trying to sue you all the time. And people don't think about that. They don't realize that. We want to know. So somebody might be like, oh, that's what the cost of being that famous is. Maybe not that famous. I don't want to be that famous. Anyway, that's just me. I think the studios are leaving a lot of money on the table. They could garner so much more interest in their productions from somebody who has seen behind the scenes and then looks at the movie again. So that's me. So feel free to like, share, dislike, subscribe, none of the above, the same way that you would if you'd want people to do if this were your piece. Have a good one. Peace.